Okay, so we have looked at the surface area of cylinders and we've looked at the surface area of rectangular prisms. Now we're going to look at the surface area of triangular prisms. We're going to start out by making some notes. It says triangular prisms are made up of the following faces. The bases are the two triangular, parallel and congruent faces, which makes sense because this is a triangular prism. Lateral faces are the three rectangular faces. So here are my bases. And then I have these rectangular faces on all three sides that help make up the prism. The height of the triangular prism, or H, is the distance between the two bases. Now don't get the H of your prism confused with the H of your triangle. I know that gets a little crazy, but that's why we draw it out. This is the height of my prism. This could actually be the height of my prism, and this line here could also be the height of my prism. So don't get those confused. Those are what's connecting my two bases. If I look down here, they give me the two formulas for lateral surface area and total surface area. Remember, big P is still perimeter of the base. H is the height of the prism. And those are the same here. So you can just draw you a little line that says that's your perimeter, that's still your height. And big B still stands for area of the base. Okay, we already know that. We've done it. Let's talk about how to find big P. Big P is going to equal side plus side plus side of your base. And since it is a triangle, there are only three sides. Big B is going to be BH over 2. Be very, very careful. Do not use the H of your prism. Make sure you're using the H of the base. Okay? We're going to go down here. And remember, I tell you to color in your base. So we're just going to do one side for now. And then we're going to draw it. And we're going to label it. The base is 12, because that matches here. My height is 5. And my hypotenuse is 13. Okay? Now we're going to look for the height of the prism. Because the height of the prism, if I went ahead and colored this side in, is what connects the two bases. And it's also the only number we haven't used. We have not used 10, so that is the height of my prism. For the rest of this, I'm no longer looking at this prism. I'm now just looking at what we drew over here as our base. To find big P, we say side plus side plus side, which is 5 plus 12 plus 13. And that is going to give me my big P down here of 30. Big B is the base of my prism here, which is 12, times the height of my base, which is 5, all divided by 2. And if I throw all that into my calculator, big B comes out to be 30. Don't get confused because your perimeter and your big P and big B are not always going to be the same. It just happens that it worked out that way in this problem. Okay, let's look at this one. If I color in my base, it looks a little confusing. I'm going to draw it out over here. The base is 6. This side is 5. And it has these little lines here, which means if this side is 5, this side is 5. And then the height of my prism, which they give me over here, is 4. Okay, so I have all that done. Make sure we can see that 4. That tells me that the height of my prism is this number right here, which we haven't used, and that's 8. Big P is just my side, 6 plus 5 plus 5. 6 plus 5 plus 5. And that is going to give me 16 for my big P. And then I'm going to take big B, and I'm going to take the base of this figure, which is 6, times the height, which is my 4, and divide that by 2. And that is going to give me 12. Okay, before I set you off on your own, I want to look at one on the back. And I want to go ahead and solve all together. All right, we are going to color in our base. And then I'm going to draw it. If you notice over here on our base, it tells us that it's a right triangle. My drawing is not real pretty. The base is 20. The height is 15. And the hypotenuse is 25. The only number that we haven't used between these two bases is 22. I'm going to write that right here. That's the height of my prism. Okay? Let's go ahead and find big P of this triangle, which is going to be 20 plus 25 plus 15. So big P is going to equal, big P is going to equal 60. And then we're going to look for big B, which is going to be the base of the triangle times the height of the triangle, which is right here, all over 2. So big B is going to equal, should have brought my calculator over here with me. Big B is going to equal 150. Okay? Now let's write some formulas. The formula for lateral surface area is big PH. And then for total is big PH plus 2B. And now we have everything we need to fill in. So we're going to fill in big P is 60 times the height of my figure, which is 22. Remember, we figured that out earlier. That is going to equal 1320. And I'm actually just going to take this 1320 and throw it up here in place of pH because we already found it, plus 2 times my big B, which is 150. And that is going to equal 1620 if I throw it into my calculator. Okay, that's all there is to surface area of a triangular prism. If you have any questions, please come see me.